Welcome to Restoration, creating pathways through which knowledge flows. Today, I want to share with you the opening paragraph for Toni Morrison's Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon was published in 1977 by this woman writer who is the greatest writer of our time. I mean, she's won every major literary award, and she, for my own life, was the guiding light. For so long, she was the prime voice that led me as a writer into the beauty and richness and the apparent effortlessness of words. And the poetry of her writing just captivated me. And this was one of the first novels I read by her. I remember my mother being delighted with the novel, and so I was inclined to be delighted with the novel. I don't think it was the first one of Morrison's works that I read, but it was an early novel for me. And it is still one of my favorites. It's in a different category from some of her other works for me. Beloved to me remains her absolute masterpiece. But Song of Solomon is the most pleasant of Morrison's works for me to read. I get joy from it every single time. So the novel has an epigraph. Well, it's first is dedicated to Daddy, and then she writes, "The fathers may soar, and the children may know their names." And I'm just reading up to the first paragraph, and part 1, chapter 1 opens. The North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance agent promised to fly from Mercy to the other side of Lake Superior at 3 o'clock. 2 days before the event was to take place, he tacked a note on the door of his little yellow house. At 3 p.m. on Wednesday, the 18th of February, 1931, I will take off from Mercy and fly away on my own wings. Please forgive me. I loved you all. Signed, Robert Smith, insurance agent. This opening paragraph is so full of information. One, Morrison puts her own birthday in there by marking the date as the 18th of February, 1931. I'm not sure at what hour she was born, whether it's 3 p.m. or not, but the 18th of February, 1931 is the day that she, in fact, herself was born, which I think is a beautiful little note. The North Carolina Mutual Life Insurance is a company that was very important to many African Americans back in the day. People believed in life insurance policies despite the fact that they didn't necessarily ever pay off, but they felt comfortable, and they spent a lot of time making sure that those policies were in place. And this was an actual company. There is also this name, Mercy, that we don't get to see really immediately what mercy is, but it's capitalized, so it's mercy, which is a word that comes into the novel later at a point in a funeral. It's mercy, someone singing mercy, mercy, mercy. But it's right here at the beginning of the novel, mercy, which is like a plea, it's like a cry, but it's also an affirmation. There is mercy, right? And so right here at the beginning, that there is a place from which this man intends to fly. And then there's Lake Superior. And Lake Superior, of course, is one of the Great Lakes, and it locates us in the northern region of our nation. I remember giving an entire class lesson on just the first paragraph of this novel. And the rest of the novel is as rich. My copy of the book is being eaten away by the acid that was used to produce it. But I have my original copy with my notes scribbled from over the years, and the tape trying to hold the cover in place. But no matter, the edges are being slowly eaten away by the very process of its own making. But I hold this copy because I've written in it, and I see my thoughts over decades of reading. So I hope I've tempted your palate. And if you have not read Song of Solomon, please, it is a treat for your soul. And if you have read it before, I hope that you will read it again. This is Restoration, creating pathways through which knowledge flows.